So this week we take a look at the Jamis Xenith SL, the top of the line road racing bike from Jamis. And Sean from Jamis Canada is here, so let's go take a look at it. Hey Sean.
How are you?
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
So take us through this bike.
Sure. Well, this is our top of the line Xenith SL. We did a new mold for this last year, so we've changed the bike. Even from last year, it was a great bike. This year we've used a tapered steering tube and a tapered head tube, of course, to go along with it. We have a hollow fork that actually increases stiffness. And the other nice thing that we have on this bike that not a lot of other companies are using this year is the BB30 bottom bracket, which makes the bottom bracket area larger and stiffer. Of course, this bike is all high modulus carbon fiber. It's weighing in just over 13 pounds. We've weighed this bike. It's a 56. I think it's just over 13 pounds. Some of the other nice features on this bike is the chainstay. We're using a 10% larger chainstay on the drive side. So when you're hammering on this bike, either sprinting or climbing hard out of the saddle uphill, it's not going to rock side to side. It's going to stay nice and stiff. So that 10% extra on the drive side translates into a 30% stiffer bike. Okay, so let's just go over some of the hot specs on this bike. This is spec'd with Ceram Red, which is the lightest componentry on the market right now. So it's full Ceram Red with a double tap system, and we're using a 3T cockpit this year. So handlebar stem and seat post. Also, we have the K-Force Lite FSA full carbon fiber crank. So this thing's pretty sweet. It's spec'd about as nice as you're going to find a bike.
Okay, let's strip this thing down. I want to take a look at the fork and the BB30, which is one of the most interesting things about the Jamis carbon bikes. So where we start, let's start with taking the chain off. There's the quick link. All right, chain's off. Let's just go straight to the crank. I think it's an 8, so let's just double check that. It's 10 mil. Self-extracting bolt here, pulling the crank back. Just about got it. There we go. Okay, let's just take that little seal off, or the kind of a dust cap here, FSA. Probably to give it a little, there we go, a little tap. Cranks out. Bearings pressed in over here. And there's BB30. Take a look. We got the crank off. Pretty neat looking inside there. We'll go back to the bottom bracket itself. So let's take a peek here at the FSA K-Force Lite hollow carbon crank. You can see one of the bearings are actually fit into this massive spindle, which is quite large. And 0. Just a quick measurement is going to tell us 29.77, so nominally a 30 millimeter spindle. And then this set here itself in grams, with one bearing still on it. Then let's put this retainer on and let's throw this thing back on to 614 grams. So there's the crank. Be interesting to get that bearing off and find out what the real weight is, but I don't want to pry at anything. This is the demo model, but let's go back over here, Sean, and take a look inside, because this is actually kind of neat. So carbon frame, enlarged bottom bracket. It's not the largest bottom bracket that I've seen. I've seen some, but you look at the time trial bike, that it kind of really fills in that area, so that additional stiffness. But look, quite enlarged area. Look at the size of the press fitting. Remember, this is a press fit, so this is all clean, no grease. We're actually going to clean it out before we put it back together. There's this little retainer, which is actually, you can see it moved there. that's trapping the bearing. So on the other side, you can see the bearing inside, and it's trapping it, preventing it from being pushed inside.
Okay, so let's have a look inside the bottom bracket here. So if we take a look inside, you can see we've got internal cable routing for the front derailleur. And you probably can't see this because of the light, but it's actually hollow back here. And what Jamis does with their chainstays is we make the drive side 10% larger. And the reason for that is to increase lateral stiffness. Now that by making that drive side 10% larger, we're actually increasing lateral stiffness by 30%. So when you're hammering on this bike sprinting or hammering uphill, you're not going to lose energy. Another thing that we've done this year is used a tapered steerer tube in our fork, and that's a tapered head tube as well. So that's also designed to increase lateral stiffness, make the bike as stiff as possible. So we're going from 1 1/8 to 1 1/2 at the bottom. Actually, why don't we just take this fork off and we'll have a look.
Okay, it's this fork is off. It's quite alarming to see this taper. Never seen anything quite like it. This is you're going to see this on a lot of bikes, I think, this year. So let's just take a quick measure at the top here. So this is all nominal, quick measurements. 28.58, and right at the crown, 39.94. So 1 1/8 to 1 1/2. Fork is all carbon steerer, all carbon legs. It is hollow inside, and you can see the profile here is actually, I think they're going for a little bit of aerodynamics, but also the wide areas for stiffness. And then where the fork legs meet the steerer, it's alloy there with alloy crown rings. Very cool fork. Oh, let's put it on the scale. So this is an uncut fork with top expander inside, or it's not an expander on this one. Grams, 420.
So let's take a look. Actually take a look right at the top there, and you can see here's the pressed fit for the fork. So you notice the size on there, and then notice the size on the bottom, and you can really see how it's tapered with the bearing still in there, all for the purpose of stiffness.
Okay, now we got it back together. Let's see how much it weighs.
All right.
So no cages, no pedals, but otherwise a complete bike. No air, I guess, in the tires.
No air in the tires.
Let's see, this balanced here.
There we go.
13.15.
13.15.
And what size is this?
This is a 56.
Wow, that's light.
Yeah, it's a 56. So, you know, most companies weigh their smallest frame.
So that was the Jamis Xenith SL, a top-of-the-line carbon road racing bike from Jamis. Pretty amazing bike. It's currently on the road in the Tour de California under the Team Colavita Sutter Home Cooking Light team. And check back hellovelo.ca for more reviews and looks at great cycling and triathlon products.